This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome back to another podcast episode of Change Your Mindset. As always, I'm your host, Adrian Gomez. So everything's going up. I've talked about before. Everything's going up except people's wages, their salary. It's hard for people to make a living. I said before, 60% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. And now you are seeing people going on strikes because they want to get paid more. Rightfully so. One thing people do not understand is when a large group of people, salaries go up all at once, whatever company they work for, their products or their service will go up. So it's great for the workers that they get a pay increase because, like I said, it's hard to live nowadays for the average person. But the consumers are the ones that suffer because the prices go up. For example, UPS workers got a massive new labor deal with big raises. So full-time workers at UPS will average $49 an hour. Current workers will get $2.75 more an hour this year and $7.50 an hour more over the 5-year contract. UPS drivers will average $170,000 in pay and benefits at the end of the 5-year deal. So that's great for UPS workers because they're going to get a huge pay increase. But if you are using UPS to ship out items to wherever your destination is, their prices are going to go up. So that's why I say consumers lose when a mass amount of group of people get a pay increase. Because companies are not going to absorb the hit of the pay increase. Why would they do that? They're going to make less money. And of course, if you're in a business, you want to make more money. So if they want to keep making the same amount of money, or eventually they want to make more, they're going to have to give that pay raise and put it on the consumer. So now you, the consumer, who's paying for their shipping and packages, are going to pay more to compensate the pay increase of the workers. And here's another example coming out of the state of California, where fast food places are going to have to start paying their employees a minimum of $20. Here's a video.
Good news today for fast food workers starting next year. $20 an hour for California fast food workers. That almost $5 per hour raise starts April 1st. The deal was announced today by labor unions in the fast food industry, avoiding a costly referendum on the November 2024 ballot. The agreement would apply to all fast food restaurants in California that are part of a chain with at least 60 locations nationwide. The Fast Food Council would have the power to raise the minimum wage each year through 2029. The bill must be approved by the Democratic-controlled state legislature and signed into law by Governor Newsom.
Like I said previously with the UPS one, all these fast food places are now going to have to pay their employees more money. Meaning, same concept, all the prices on the food menu are going to go up. So whatever the prices are right now on whatever fast food place you go to, those prices are going to go up. That's how it works. And now we have a strike with the United Auto Workers because they want a pay increase. So I'm going to read an article from ABC News that was published on September 16th. And the title is, "The Auto Workers Strike Will Drive Up Car Prices, but Not Right Away." Car shoppers are heading for a new round of sticker shock if the strike by the United Auto Workers doesn't end soon, particularly for popular vehicles that are already in short supply. The number of vehicles on dealer lots will shrink the longer the walkout goes on. Dealers are likely to lose incentives that the manufacturers pay them to boost sales by cutting prices. And consumers might make things worse with panic buying. Many analysts think it will take several weeks before dealer lots start to look a bit empty. Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis built up inventories of vehicles ahead of Thursday's night's strike, and the UAW decided to limit the walkout to just 3 plants, at least for now. Guys at the dealerships are going to tell you the UAW this and that, but their lots are full of cars now, says Ivan Drury, the director of Insights at Edmunds, a provider of information about the auto industry. He estimates that current inventory levels and the pace of vehicle sales, most car shoppers shouldn't notice much change for a couple of months. Vehicles from the Detroit 3 sat in inventory an average 52 days before being sold in August, up from 31 days at the start of last year, according to Edmunds data. The UAW began striking at factories that make only a few vehicles: Ford Broncos and Rangers, Jeep Wranglers, Chevrolet mid-size pickups, and GMC vans. Dealers have good inventories of those. The union said it had reasonably reproductive conversations with Ford on Saturday, while Stellantis gave details about its most recent offer to the union. Mark Stewart, Chief Operating Officer for North America at Stellantis, also said his company has contingency plans to limit the impact on consumers, though he declined to give details about them. Quote, "We really want to encourage customers, don't be afraid," end quote, Stewart said, while suggesting they see the deals above at dealerships. If the strike isn't ended soon, however, there could be shortages of some makes and models, big sellers or vehicles that are already in short supply, such as Chevrolet Silverado and Tahoe, GMC Sierra, and Ford F-Series pickups. The car companies have plants in Mexico that could keep producing some models, as long as they have a supply of parts. While the supply of cars from Detroit's Big Three would largely depend on how long the strike lasts and how quickly it spreads to other plants. There were rumors Friday that additional factories could be added next week. There are other factors. Garrett Nelson, an auto analyst for CFRA Research, expects manufacturers to eliminate incentives they pay to dealers to boost sales. Those incentives let dealers reduce their sticker prices, and they often target it at slower selling models. The biggest wildcard could be consumer psychology, panic buying that would drive up prices. Quote, "The impact on prices will be almost instantaneous," Nelson says. Quote, "Dealers will say, look, we're not sure how many additional vehicles we're going to be getting. There could be somewhat of a panic effect that could stimulate consumers to make that purchase sooner rather than later," end quote. As cars from Ford, GM, and Stellantis, the successor of Fiat Chrysler, become harder to find, there will be a ripple effect. Consumers who need a vehicle would likely turn to non-union competitors like Toyota, Honda, and Tesla, who would be able to charge them more. Quote, "You'll start to see that pricing gets affected everywhere, and not just on the new end of the business," end quote, Drury says. Used car values, which have been seeing a bit of a decline from the last year's highs, could start going back up, as consumers look for an affordable alternative to new vehicles. Consumers who lease their vehicle and are coming to the end of their term could be especially vulnerable. Drury says leasing companies want their cars back, while the used car market is hot and might be unwilling to extend the lease. Anyone shopping for a new, used, or a leased car right now will also be hit by higher interest rates. The average rate of a new car loan this week stood at 7.46%, and for a used car, it was 8.06%, according to bank rates. High rates are contributing to a spike in rejections for consumers looking to buy a ride. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York said this month that the rejection rate for auto loans is now 14.2%, the highest since the bank started tracking figures in 2013, and up from 9.1% 6 months ago. Rejections are also up for mortgages, credit cards, and other loans, as lenders recoil at the growing number of people falling behind on payments. Household debt is rising. Car prices were rising long before the auto workers even raised the possibility of a strike. A chip shortage, disruptions in the global supply chain, and strong demand pushed prices higher. The average price for a new vehicle jumped from $39,919 in 2020 to $40,798 so far this year. According to Kelley Blue Book, cheap cars have all but disappeared, and consumers are forced into ever longer loans to limit their monthly payments. Prices for used cars rose sharply in 2021 and 2022, but have slipped slightly this year. Prices are almost certain to rise even if the strike is settled quickly, because the automakers' labor costs will increase. Quote, it's almost a foregone conclusion that the UAW will succeed in getting substantial wage increases, end quote, says Patrick Anderson, the founder of Anderson Economic Group, a research firm that conducts market analysis. Quote, part of that is simply due to inflation. Part of that is due to the profits of the automakers. And part of that is due to the leverage that the UAW has right now. With a short inventory and an economy that still has a lot of people that want to buy cars, end quote. The UAW is asking for a 36% increase in wages over 4 years, plus other demands that would increase expenses for the companies. On Saturday, Stellantis detailed its latest offer for cumulative raises of nearly 21% in hourly wages, roughly in line with proposals from Ford and GM. UAW President Shawn Fain is sensitive to the impression that the union's gains will come out of consumers' pocketbooks. He points out that prices were rising before the strike and says labor accounts for a fraction of the big three's total cost. Quote, they could double our wages and not raise car prices and still make billions of dollars in profit, end quote. He said during an online presentation to union members this week. It's all enough to make many motorists consider avoiding the car lot and keeping their current car a while longer. Their bank accounts will be healthier without car payments. Holding onto your car is not a bad thing, said Drury. The Edmunds analyst, it's a lot more durable than you think it is. That is the end of the article. So if you think car prices are expensive now, when UAW workers get paid more, their wages go up, car prices will eventually go up. Obviously, like I said, to compensate the salaries. The consumer, which is you, who's going to buy the car, is going to have to pay more. It's great for the workers, bad for the consumers. That's just how it works. Everything is going up right now. Inflation is hurting a lot of people. A lot of people are struggling to survive because everything is expensive. And obviously, in order for them to survive, they need to make more money. So this is what they're doing. They're going on strike, trying to get more money from the companies. But at the end of the day, like I said, consumers, which would be you, lose. You're going to pay more money. So at the end of the day, everything is just going to keep going up and up and up. Everything's going to get more and more expensive, no matter what. So now, if you're making more money, everything else around you is going to start getting more expensive. Because when people, large groups of people, get pay increases, whatever field they're in, that product is going to go up in price. So it's a never-ending battle between wages and the price you pay for products or services. It's a never-ending battle. And like I said in the last podcast, you will never own a home because houses keep going up and up and up, just like everything else. And if car prices keep going up and up, soon people will not be able to afford a car. As it is, some people can't even afford a car now because how expensive some of them are, used and new. So as they go up, people will not even be able to afford a car anymore. So you no longer to be able to afford a car, and you no longer be able to afford a home. And that's how it's looking so far. So you want to look out for wherever a massive amount of workers want a pay increase, whatever field it is, you need to notice it, because whatever field they are in, their service or products will go up. And you're already starting to see it right now. It's going to happen more and more. People are going to ask for more and more money. So you're going to see more strikes. You're going to see more people and employees asking for more money. So just be aware that prices will continue to go up, because people don't understand that if employees ask for more money, the consumer, which would be you, is going to pay more. So just be aware of that. So thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Hopefully you understand that what's going on right now, you're going to end up paying more money. So hopefully this podcast episode was beneficial to you guys, and more people understand when employees' wages go up, consumers' wages go up. They go hand in hand. So thank you, Patron member Blade262, for being a Patreon member and helping support this podcast. If you'd like to be a Patreon member, the link will be in the description below. As always, please subscribe, share this podcast, and comment. It does help the algorithm and does help the podcast grow. So thank you guys again. I wish you the best. Keep fighting the good fight. Take care of yourself. And as always, change your mindset to change your life. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.